Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. So, today, what?
It's your turn.
Yeah, I was going to say, your episode is brought to you by the letter me.
I just pointed at Barbie. She was like, what?
Yeah, like what? But anyway, so today's episode is brought to you by the letter me. Estela's tired. She's a little jet lagged porque la pendeja se cree que she's fucking international and shit. She went out of town. Not out of town, out of country.
I did.
Ella acaba de regresar. And all right, so we are going to be discussing the murder of Daniel Halseth. I don't know if you've heard of this.
I have not.
Okay. So today we will be going to the city of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
So interesting fun fact of Las Vegas, Nevada. I don't know why I feel like I have to say Las Vegas, Nevada. Is that Las Vegas means the meadows. That's what it means. The meadows.
Like a meadow, like a Meadows.
See, meadows. Like,
okay, like a meadow. Yeah.
It's due to it's due to water that is actually underground in artisan wells under Las Vegas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And not only that, the annual rain of Las Vegas falls under only less than 4 inches in a year.
Wow. I wouldn't be able to live in a place that doesn't get rain.
Yeah. And then another one was that, because I was already there, y había un vergo, like there's a shitload. The electric bill on the Luxor Pyramid Shining Light, lo que parece así como
que está bien alto, la pirámide.
Sí, la pirámide, que you're like, hey, come here, phoning home or whatever, is $51 an hour. An hour.
So times 24?
Yeah.
How much is that a day?
A shitload. I didn't even want to check. And I thought I paid a lot of fucking light and fucking the heat here in Houston. Ya la iba a checar la pendeja.
I got to check.
But there's a lot more. Pero
that's $1,200 a day times 365. That's almost $500,000 in a light bill.
In a light bill.
Wow.
For
a year.
One beaming light. I also read one of them that I know that I didn't write it down, but that at one point, Michael Jackson wanted to have a robot that would go around the strip.
A robot?
Of him.
I mean, you know.
Hey, do what you do.
Do what you gotta do. Si tienes el dinero for it, go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
But what was this robot gonna be? I know you said it was gonna be a robot of himself, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Pero va a estar like dancing, like the moonwalk?
Yeah, he was gonna be dancing, moonwalking.
¿También?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Just like that. Igualito.
Okay.
No, sí, igualito. So we're going to be discussing, as I said, the case of Daniel Halseth. Halseth? Yeah. And Daniel was born in Estacada, Oregon, on January 28th of 1976 to parents Wendell and Christine Halseth. First of all, who the fuck didn't tell me that Oregon was so beautiful?
I want to go to Oregon so bad.
OMG. Their highs are in the 60s at all times.
No, but they have like a whole bunch of like hiking and stuff you can do.
Yeah.
And their coast, like the coastline. Oh, so pretty.
Oh my gosh. I think we're going to have to take a trip to Oregon. Anyway.
Add that to the list.
Adding that to the rest of the shit that we don't do.
Yeah.
The Halseth family is actually from a long line of Oregonians. That's what they call people from Oregon.
Oregonians. Okay, so like his family has just always lived in Oregon.
Always. They've never moved away from there. And they're actually said to be one of the first settlers that was in Oregon. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Daniel was a big family man. They were very close, and he was especially close to his mother. Okay. So he would talk to her very often, and they were very close. He graduated from Western Oregon University with a bachelor's in music.
Oh, cool.
He played many instruments, but he was actually known for the most part as Drummer Dan. So he played mostly the drums, and he was known by his very close friends.
Dan?
Yeah, Drummer Dan.
Cool.
He also received his master's in business at Corbin University in Salem.
Massachusetts?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
No, Salem, Oregon.
Oh, okay, crap.
Yeah, I think it's different.
Yeah. I mean, one's on the West Coast, one's on the East Coast.
I don't know.
One that killed witches over here.
All I wanted to know is another place we want to go. Every year that we see the movie de las pinches witches, ¿Cómo se llama
Hocus
la madre?
Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. We always say we're going to go, but we never do. Anyway, so he was into fitness. He took a lot of pictures, and he actually was known to be very good photographer. Like
Wow, he's just very artistic.
Yeah, he was very artistic, and actually some of his family members would go as far as calling him like very talented with taking pictures and that kind of thing. Because of that, he actually had a few followers on Instagram. He had a big social following. So he had a Facebook, a Twitter, and an Instagram, as I said, where he had 20.7,000 followers.
Okay, yeah, that's a following.
Yeah, he had a following. Can't relate.
¿Cómo qué año?
This was around probably the beginning of 2010-ish.
Oh, damn, then that's a big following for back then.
Yeah, so he was, like I said, traveling. Actually, his Instagram is still up. You can look him up on Instagram, and he's still, he has some beautiful pictures, and his last video was actually one of the videos where he was landing into...
Wait, ¿se murió?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was landing into the airport. I don't remember. I think he was landing into Vegas, and you could see where he was taking these beautiful photos of, I guess he had a really good iPhone. I don't know.
Or actually good cameras.
Yeah,
he's a photographer.
Not like us, because we were talking about how we needed new iPhones.
Yeah.
So as I said, he was a traveler, but on top of that, he was very positive. He would bring light to everyone. So he was always like telling his followers, be yourself, do what you like. But, he he actually wasn't perfect, obviously. Like, none of us are.
Yeah, exactly.
None of us are. And not only that, but a lot of the times we tend to put only the good stuff on
social media.
But he actually was one that would tell people, hey, yo no soy perfecto. Don't follow what I do. You have to be yourself.
Right.
So at one point, Daniel married a woman by the name of Elizabeth in March 16th of 2001.
Okay.
They would go on to have 3 children that were 1 year apart from each other: Dana, Jordan, and Sierra. Sierra was the youngest. He was known to use, everywhere that you could go ahead and look him up, there was a lot of videos and photos of his family. Like, he was a big, like family I said, once again, he was a big family
because
man.
He was close to his mom, como you said earlier.
Yeah, that's true. In 2006, they all moved to Las Vegas because Daniel decided that he was going to start up a computer company. So Daniel seemed to be very wanting to make a life in Vegas. So he did start supporting his wife as well, because his wife was a politician. With that being said, Elizabeth became the youngest woman to be elected in Nevada as legislative senate. And she actually, at 27, became the youngest woman to be elected into the Nevada Legislative Senate. That was after 4 years of being in Vegas. So, I mean,
that was pretty fast, I guess.
That's pretty awesome, and especially for, girl power.
Yeah.
Get it, girl. They were a young couple with 3 kids, and Daniel, once again, was very supportive. It seemed like that on his social media, as we said. Everything was going great as it seemed, but in real life, it was not. He wanted to mention that he was a very open book. And the reason that I keep saying this and bring this up is because he did do a lot of things that he would tell about to his followers through his Instagram and that kind of stuff. So you can kind of see in his socials the way his life or timelines.
What's going.
Yeah, that's why I keep bringing this up.
Okay.
So it took him about 10 years of being with this wife before they actually started showing signs publicly of having some disagreements or problems. Obviously, it might have not been that long, but I mean, who knows? On October 21st of 2011, Daniel was arrested. He was charged for open and gross lewdness, which I didn't know what that was at first. But apparently it was because his wife was accusing him of forcing himself on her. And she kept saying it was because he was jealous. Apparently, according to her, and I say allegedly because this is not what...
It's not facts.
Not the facts. I don't know the facts because this is what they went to court for. But allegedly, he was supposedly telling her, you're going to submit to me. You can't leave the house. He tried to take the keys from her, pushed her around or whatever. He says that it wasn't true. But the biggest thing that did come about was that she kept saying he was jealous because, according to Daniel, he was getting cheated on, or she was cheating with someone that she worked with by the name of Tiger.
Como tigre?
Como tigre. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tiger Woods. But he's Tiger Woods.
Yeah, he's Tiger Woods.
But if you're
this is just
somebody
Tiger.
named Tiger.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't
Did you hear
understand.
about that? I don't know if she's like a celebrity or anything like that, but she had a son and their last name is Webb. So she named him Spider.
No. I'm not going to listen to that. Anyway, so no, es que no, pinches mamadas, no mames, güey, pinches babosadas. Anyway, according to what she said, he was trying to kick her out of the house and telling her that he was going to once again take the keys and stuff. Y le dijo, pues te voy a aventar cosas and all of that.
Yeah. Pero he's negating everything.
He's negating that.
He's like, no.
Because he's like, no, I wouldn't do that. And also because of the fact that he's saying, I mean, you know, it's always a he said or
he said, she said.
You know, you never know. But apparently Daniel had already asked Tiger to please stop seeing his wife.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. They had a relationship and they were actually taking work trips together. They would leave town together.
So she was cheating on him.
Yes, she allegedly. I don't know. But according to what he's saying, Daniel says, yes, she was cheating on me. She didn't actually say that she was because honestly, I mean, she was still in politics, so we don't know. So after this fight, the biggest fight that they had was said to be after she came back from a trip with Tiger. Yeah. Se salieron y pues se enojó y le dijo cosas. And so
after Dan had already talked to Tiger.
Yeah, es que he already told Tiger to leave her alone, pero pues Tiger no hace caso.
But allegedly, because we don't know.
Obviously, he's like, no, I never meant to say that, or it didn't sound like I meant it, and all of this stuff. And there's pictures out there of him, you know, whenever they took he didn't look like he was okay. I mean, think about it. If you're getting cheated on and now you're in jail.
Wait, is he really getting cheated on?
Well, let me move on. At that moment, by the end of the day, it doesn't matter what happened. He got arrested. And Daniel. Yeah. In August 2012, he did plead guilty and he did have to pay around $975 for, I guess, court fees and had to do 97 hours of community service, as well taking anger management classes. The only thing that kind of was, I think, not right, but oh, well, I don't know. I'm not in that, is that he did have to register as a sex offender due to the sexual assault that Elizabeth claimed against him.
You register as a sex offender?
Apparently in Nevada you do. I don't know.
Isn't it just usually when you're like a child sex offender that you
I thought so too, but I have no idea.
Well, that's why I was thinking about it. Por eso me quedé tan, I was like, wait, what? I didn't know that.
But
okay.
I had no idea either, but this is what it is. So at this point, you know, now he has that under his belt, you know, but literally the day after all of this happened and he came out of jail and everything, November 2012, excuse me, after they're saying literally like right after the day that he came out of jail, he filed for divorce. Some people say he filed, some people say she filed. Anyway, there was divorce filed and they did share custody at that moment of the kids, 3 kids. Of the kids. Yeah. In February 2012, now his wife resigned out of office. So she's like, I can't do this anymore. And the reason was that she's saying she was having issues with being able to be a single mom and work at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. So she reported as she wasn't answering her phone. She wasn't going to meetings. Como que ya le valió madre. There was a lot going on. So she's like, I resign.
Okay.
After the divorce, Elizabeth was actually granted full custody of the kids, because of everything that happened with Daniel.
He was arrested.
So Miss Elizabeth decided to move to Alaska.
Okay.
And she went with her new boo.
No me digas.
Tiger.
Not lion, but tiger.
Tiger.
Okay.
So they move over there and they get married.
Okay.
So, I mean, that kind of tells you
that they were having an affair or there was something going on.
Girl, she moved on. Like, she was like, I'm moving on. Okay. I'm done. Which is, hey, more power to you.
Okay.
She was living her life. She actually was a part of the 2012 May edition of Maxim 100 Most Hottest People contest.
In Alaska?
In the United States.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, she didn't win. But she was fly. She was looking fly, well, according to her and Tiger, obviously. Then after this, everything started turning sour. You know,
between Dan
and Elizabeth. Okay, they were fighting custody over the kids now.
Even though she had just been awarded the full custody, but he was fighting for custody too.
He just wanted
to be with the kids.
Yeah. And honestly, like at this point, he's like, I'm alone. I lost my kids.
My wife.
I'm my wife. I'm a registered sex offender. Like, what am I supposed to do now? You know? So the youngest of the 3 siblings was the one that wanted to spend more time with him. So she was more attached to him. And she was like, I want to be with my dad. And he would make videos of them like dancing. And it was just the cutest thing ever. Now at the same time, Daniel did remarry in 2019.
Oh, recently.
Yeah. So he remarried, but it wasn't for long. They weren't married. I think I couldn't even say the name of the lady. Like, honestly, it was I don't know. I don't know where she was from, but I didn't want to butcher it. So I know that he remarried. That's as far as I know. And they actually were still friends. They were.
Oh, se separaron y quedaron bien. They were like, okay, it just didn't work out, but it's fine.
It was so well that they were getting along that they actually still had their bank account joined. Like they still had.
Oh, maybe they're just like they tried it because they were such good friends, but then
they were good friends beforehand. Yeah.
Okay, and then they were just like, okay, never mind. Maybe we're just gonna stay as friends. Y ya lo, pues, hay que separarnos, pero we're still gonna keep our monies together.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works for them,
works
right?
For you,
so things were looking kind of once again under the weather for Daniel. Now he had a divorce twice, and he kind of was like, I felt like he based on what I saw in his posts and stuff like that, como que you can tell that he was kind of sad and that going through some stuff. Yeah. So it did kind of look a little bit better for him when he found out that Elizabeth actually and Tiger were going to bring their family back and they're going to move back to Vegas since the kids didn't want to live in Alaska. I mean, not that I don't see nothing wrong with Alaska, but if they moved when they were a little bit older, so their friends and stuff like that was back in Vegas.
Back home, yeah.
At this point, Daniel was divorced and Sierra kind of lived with him on and off.
Sierra es la más chiquita.
La más chiquita, yeah. So by this time, they're all living in Vegas again. So he's like, oh, cool. Maybe I can, spend some time with my kids. But Sierra was the one that was most close to him. And she kind of didn't want to be with her mom and Tiger. I mean, the fact that I would have to call my stepdad Tiger.
And it's not Tiger Woods. It's just somebody named Tiger.
Just Tiger.
Pero okay.
What?
I couldn't think of what I was going to say.
Anyway, so she would stay with Daniel in his rental property. So he had a rental and he was kind of once again doing his thing, traveling, taking pictures and like, I think like hiking and he was in Rhode Island and just taking pictures and stuff like that. I thought that at that point, he thought things were going to get better for him. Yeah. Because he's like, okay, well, my family is back, Yeah. Legally, this was not supposed to happen because Elizabeth had full custody of Sierra. So Daniel...
¿Y cuántos años tenía Sierra?
Sierra at this point was around 12 or 13.
Okay.
So then Daniel is like, you know what? I'm going to take Elizabeth to court. So he did. He took Elizabeth to court and was fighting custody for at least Sierra. At this point, he was denied.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was ordered for Sierra to go back home, but Sierra would still go
with her dad.
Her dad, yeah, because she wanted to spend time with him.
I mean, sí lo podía ver. She just couldn't spend the night.
The court was like, you just need to live with your mom.
Right.
At the age of 15, and around June around June of 2020, Sierra met a boy by the name of Aaron Guerrero. I don't know exactly where they met. I think it was probably like at school or online. There was a small problem though with Aaron, that Aaron was 18. So obviously he's a lot older than Sierra.
And she was what?
15?
Mm-hmm. Yikes.
Now the couple's parents were not okay. The couple's parents were okay for a little bit. Like they were like, okay.
It's like Valerie dating a 19-year-old.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then it's like, okay, cool, but then they started noticing that things started getting really serious really fast. So Sierra started kind of like being a little more toxic. And when I mean toxic, I mean like that's all she wanted to do was be with Aaron. Like I get it. You have your little boyfriend and you talk to him or whatever. But like, no, she was like
inseparable.
Yeah. Like we drink our each other's blood and shit. Like that kind of toxic. Bien pinche Angelina Jolie and shit. With Billy Bob Thornton.
No, they wore their bloods around their necks. Pero Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are the ones that drank their blood.
Yeah, and I think they licked each other's blood or something también. I'm like, that's kind of gross. Anyway, so then that's how that kind of level they were, to people that could understand. They're kind of like you know what? This is not looking well. So Daniel started to notice that Sierra was moody. Can you tell I wrote this at 2:00 in the morning? That Sierra was moody and being a teen, you know?
So he maybe just chucked it up to, you know, she's a teenager, que tiene 15 años.
Yeah, you know, we all go through it. We think that we're gonna, you know, be able to be in love forever and all this good stuff. But anyway, so it didn't take long until Daniel actually overheard the couple, which is Sierra and Aaron, talking about robbing their parents, and they were going to run away to LA together.
Let's take a quick break. Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! 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 He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shot fired! Shot fired!
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
Were they talking on the phone or in person?
Apparently, I think they were probably by this time talking still, like they were
on
still
the phone.
on like the phone and stuff. So Daniel overheard this and he's like, oh shit, like I need to tell somebody. He did talk to Elizabeth and said, hey, Elizabeth, this is going on. You know, Sierra's talking to this boy, blah, blah, blah. What should we do? And they actually, as a couple, came together, which is good because that means
they put
that
your differences aside for the better of the child.
We should probably learn from that, or a lot of people should.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you know what? Let's go talk to the boy. I mean, he's not a little boy.
He's a man.
Man?
Adolescent, young adult.
Adult. Let's go talk to the young adult's parents. So they go and talk to Aaron's parents, and both of the sets of the parents were like, hey, you know what?
This is not good.
They felt the same way.
Okay,
you know, at this point, Aaron is doing shit he's not supposed to be doing. He's 18.
Dating a 15-year-old.
Yeah, that's not okay. So they both decided that, hey, we're just going to talk to them and tell them that they need some time apart. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that they needed to stop talking. This just means give each other some time. Some space. Because it was getting, like I said, to an ugly point. So they just needed a little bit of a breather. So they did what any teen would do, which was?
Rebel.
Besides that, see each other without
their parents knowing. Yeah.
Which, you know, who, like you said earlier, what parents or what teens don't do shit they ain't supposed to be doing, you know, I guess. Which is okay, but then it gets a little bit worse here.
Yeah. In December, I mean, we're talking about it, so.
Yeah, exactly. In December 2020, Sierra turned 16. And Daniel.
So this was during COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll show you a few things in a minute and you'll see how it was during COVID. So Sierra turned 16 and Daniel wrote a post about how awesome she was and how proud he was of her. He actually compared his young life to her young life.
No way.
Yeah, it was
and they were close,
thing.
Right? Like
well, at that point they were already kind of like, because they were fighting over Aaron.
Yeah.
But obviously she never stopped communicating with Aaron, right? So on April the 7th is when I told you that the last post that you can actually still see of poor Daniel. You can see where he's landing and he's showing everybody the lights and all this stuff. And then he actually went live that day. Mm-hmm. And that was his last post. Because on April the 8th, Daniel's mom starts calling because she was kind of not feeling okay because she kept calling Daniel and he wasn't answering. And so she's like, something must be wrong because she would talk to him every day. So it'd been a couple of days that she didn't know where he was at. So as what happens, she's like, okay, well, I need to call somebody that's around him. So she calls Sierra. And she's like, hey, Sierra, where's your dad? I haven't heard from him. And Sierra's like, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it. He's fine. His phone broke.
Se le descompuso.
Yeah. So I'll tell him that you called and he'll reach out to you soon. It was kind of weird because she was kind of like, why is she telling me that he's okay?
Yeah,
because I didn't ask that. I said, I need to speak to your dad, tell him to call me.
Or he couldn't be like, hey, is your dad with you? Pásamelo or something. Whatever. No me está contestando.
So in some places it says that she actually called. In some places it says she texted, and they do show the text of her grandma going back and forth with her. So by this time, the next day, she's like, okay, dude, you're not answering the phone. I mean, not the next day, within some time. Because I think that she was she would texted her, and then by that time she texts her again, and she's like, okay, where's your dad? I need to talk. He's in the shower. Dice
So
Sierra.
siempre le daba excusas.
Sí, como que she was giving her the runaround, and then the grandma said, no, if you don't give him my phone, give him your phone, since his is broken.
Yeah.
Give him your phone and let me talk to him right now. I'm being serious. I'm going to call the cops.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Grandma.
Grandma was on it.
He's like, I'm not playing.
And so then she didn't answer
Ya
anymore.
no le
contestó. After that, she kept calling her, trying to reach her. Yeah. Once again, she couldn't communicate. I did hear a version of a call that his mom had placed, kind of to do a checkup.
A wellness check.
Y entonces in the call, the mom is like, hey, I'm just checking on my son, and it's been kind of weird because his ex-wife is actually looking for him too. Not only was she looking, but his ex-wife, not Elizabeth, but the ex-wife, his friend, was actually calling him too, because she was kind of getting concerned as well, because now they're both calling him and he's not
they
answering.
usually spoke to him on the regular.
Yes, on the regular. It's because they had money together. Like they were,
and they were friends. Y su mom is su mom.
Yeah, so Christine was not comfortable. After calling the cops, so she actually called the landlord of the place where Daniel was living, and her name was Peggy Newman. It was actually the owner of the place, but also very close friend of theirs.
Oh, okay.
So Christine is like, hey, do you think you can go check on Daniel? He hasn't answered, and Sierra's telling me this and this. Peggy said, yeah, I'll go check on him, but I can't go right now immediately, but I'll go when I get a chance. Yeah. So then Peggy was kind of like, I don't feel comfortable going by myself. So she actually asked one of her friends, hey, can you come with me? Right?
Yeah.
Because I would probably do, like, if somebody was like, hey, if my dad was like, hey, dude, can you come and go check on your brother? He hasn't answered. Bitch, I'm taking you with me.
Because you know how.
Yeah, because you're expecting something to be not okay.
Right.
Yeah. So then,
I guess. Wait, so when the police did the wellness check?
I don't know. It's because it was kind of in some of the places where I did hear the wellness check was not done. I think that Christine didn't wait long enough for them to go do it. She just called Peggy. So when Peggy got there, with her friend, they don't really mention the friend's name.
Yeah, but just a friend.
And it's a male. They got there and Peggy noticed that the door is already open. So then she opens the door and she's calling out Daniel, y no se oye nada. But when she starts walking in, the first thing that she sees is there's a big spot of burned. And it smelled like something was burning. So when she...
¿En el piso?
In el piso, like in the carpet. Like, you know how when you burn something and it kind of makes like a brown, like a black stain.
Yeah.
So that's what she noticed. And she thought that was weird. So she's like, is something burning? But there was a very strong smell of lighter fluid. So then she freaks out because she's like, okay, is this going to blow up or what's going on? And they also noticed that the door for the garage is slightly open. So when they go in the garage is when they came upon a body. The body was actually wrapped and stuffed, that's what they said, in a sleeping bag.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, they don't know who is in the sleeping bag because it's really badly burned and they couldn't figure out who it was. So they see this and they're like, fuck this. And they take off.
And they call the police?
They call the police. And I'm going to play the police phone call, 911
from Peggy.
Peggy's friend.
Okay. Oh, Peggy. Okay.
Yeah, Peggy's friend. Hold on one moment.
There's a dead body in the garage. We just found him with the homeowner that doesn't live here. Okay, and you're in there right now? Yes.
So the what he says is, yes, we're in here right now, and you can hear Peggy in the background saying, "Oh my God, like there's a body in here. What are we supposed to do now?"
I don't know how like you just stumble upon a dead body. Like, how do you?
I mean, but at the same time, like, do you imagine, like, she has to call her mom and tell her that
they found a body.
But the thing is, at this point, they don't know who it is.
It's a body.
It's a body.
Right.
So obviously.
But you can kind of, I mean, it's in the home.
Yeah, it's in the home. So not only that, but they also noticed that his Nissan Altima was gone, black car. Mm-hmm. And that they also, whenever the actual cops got there, that some of the burning was still going. Some of the burning. Because what happened was they noticed that some of the burning, it didn't seem like they were just trying to burn the body. They were actually burning they were trying to burn the whole house. So some of it they had to turn, I mean, like
They were just like burning in by sections,
Yes.
I guess, like set up little fires.
I guess little fires. I don't know. But at this time, it looked like the fire had kind of put itself out.
Oh, like it wasn't strong enough.
It wasn't
didn't catch.
strong enough. Or it didn't catch. But it was like, I mean,
yeah, you can smell
you
it.
can smell it, and then there's a lot of lighter fluid. So when police arrived, they also were able to conclude that the fire that was started was not actually what killed the body, because on their closer examination, they found out, and obviously, they found out that it was Daniel. They were able to identify Daniel when they did the examination, or, they took him to the coroner's office, and they found out that he was stabbed more than 70 times. 70. Yes. It was mostly around his neck.
Oh my God.
And his head. So they stabbed him in the neck, the head, the back of his head, and his torso, like upper body.
Yeah.
And not only did they stab him, but they were able to tell that whoever was doing this or whoever did this, because eventually, at this point, they don't know who it is.
Right.
They tried to dismember his body. So it was like they were trying to cut him in pieces, but they weren't unsuccessful.
Like they weren't strong enough?
They weren't strong enough.
Pero did he have cuts on his
yes,
body?
Yes, he had cuts.
Okay.
And then not only that, but after they couldn't dismember him, they tried to burn the body.
Okay.
So while they were searching the home, they found a chainsaw, a handsaw, a circular saw, and knives. Yeah.
Chills.
And all of this had human flesh stuck in between it. So that means that this is what was used.
But they were trying to do.
They were trying. So now they find out by Elizabeth and everything that Sierra is missing along with Aaron. So now we're thinking, okay, they probably ran away together, right?
Right.
They did update the police on what was going on with Sierra and about how they weren't
stuff that was happening.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to be together. Sierra's mom and dad had been going through a custody battle for her. So they kind of knew that there was a lot going on. The police was aware. Then the investigators started to look into, like, okay, where did they go? Well, they can't go anywhere without what? Money.
A car.
What they did was they started looking into Daniel's bank account, because Daniel's ex-wife had been calling Daniel because there were some odd purchases.
Right.
That were being done.
They shared the la cuenta bancaria.
Exactly. So apparently in total of everything that had been purchased was about $1,300. Mm-hmm. So for her, she's like, why would he use $1,300
in what, like 2 days?
In less than 2 days without telling me anything.
Right.
Like, it didn't make sense to her. At this point, they did check the surveillance videos because they found out that
where the
purchases were. One of them was at a Winco, the other one was at a Home Depot, and the other one was and then in various ATMs. Like, they were going around the ATMs sacando dinero. Yeah, so they figured out, but obviously they can do that
by the cameras.
That they were buying disposable gloves, bleach, a saw, blades, and lighter fluid. So these children, or these people, or
a
monsters,
child and a young adult,
they actually bought all of this with Daniel's card. Basically, the things that they use to kill him. Yeah. So I actually took screenshots of the pictures that I found of everything so that you can see. And this is why I'm telling you that you can tell that it was COVID time, because she actually wore her mask into the store.
Oh, yeah.
If you switch.
It's so weird. Oh, yeah.
Keep going. I think there's another 2 or something. And everything is being purchased with his card. And I think that that's mind-blowing to me, because it's like you have no remorse for the fact that you just...
Yeah, you could see her like literally entering the chip or the card into the low...
Yeah.
Where you pay.
Like, no fucks giving, basically, is the way I see it. Can you tell that? At this point, they're like, okay, they're actually driving around by this time in the Nissan car, right? In his car. So they
knew, yeah.
So now they know what they're driving. So they did keep an eye on that. A few days later, it doesn't say how much, but a few days later, they did find the car leaving the state.
Okay, coffee.
So they're like, oh, okay. So because based on what they were supposed to be doing before was that they were supposed to be leaving to LA. So they're like, okay, well, let's kind of keep an eye on the exits to LA, I guess. So they did see the car driving out of the state lines on April the 9th.
So his last post was on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And then this happened on the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
that he was murdered.
Yes.
And then they were seen leaving the state
on the 9th. Yes. A few days later, they did find the car on April the 13th, but there was nothing
inside of it.
Ellos ya no estaban. They just left the car. The couple wasn't found around the car or close to the car. They weren't there, but they did find a rug full of blood in the trunk. I don't know if they just were like, oh, let's just take this random ass. I don't know what they were thinking.
What?
I know. A few days later, they also did.
And I'm assuming that the blood that was on the carpet in the trunk was
Daniel's. Yes. And a few days later, they did see the couple. I think you already saw those pictures in my phone. They were getting on and off of the train. It was kind of weird because the cop is looking. It was 5 in the morning, and they see these two young kids. Well, obviously they're not young, but they were younger. They're getting off and on the train, off and on the train. And so they're like, dude, what the fuck are you guys doing? So the cop is like, hey, do you have tickets? And the whole thing of the reason that this is weird, not weird, but fucked up, is because the whole time they're making out.
What?
They're making out in the train. They're like full on like
sucking face
on the fucking train. And in this one, you can see they are making out.
Where were they at?
They're close to, I'm guessing like in a town closer to Salt Lake City. I'm not sure where, but that's where they found them, right? So
not in LA.
Not in LA. They were closer to where the car was found.
Okay.
I don't know where they were going. I don't know if they were like, oh, let's just get on this random ass train
and see where they takes us.
I mean, at this point, they think that they're fucking Bonnie and Clyde and on the run and shit. They're arrested immediately because they actually didn't even know that they were
being followed.
No.
Los que los andaban buscando.
Not only that, they had no idea that they were wanted. They just
ran away.
Yeah, they just saw these people like getting off and on the train.
Oh, they were just being suspicious.
And so they're like, what the fuck are they doing? Kind of like, ¿y estos qué pedo? You know, why are they getting on and off? And then they're making out and shit at 5 a.m. Dude, yo ni tengo ganas de mirar a mi marido a las 5 de la mañana estarme besando, güey.
Go to bed and stuff.
Shit, bitch, I want to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me. But anyway, so that's another story. And so then they were like, dude, vengan para acá. Where are your tickets?
Why are you being
And
sus?
they straight up both said,
oh, we don't have any
tickets. Yeah. They did arrest them, and their phones were taken for, you know, to
what did they get arrested on?
They I'm going to tell you in just a minute.
Okay.
But so the reason that the phones actually were a big deal in the case was because of a video that was in the actual phone.
Oh, the phone.
I'm actually going to play the video. I do have this one.
Okay.
The video is a video that was in Sierra's phone.
Okay.
Apparently, this was a few days after they had committed the crime. And let me play it for you. So it's about 46 seconds long, but it's really awkward and gross.
Oh.
Welcome back to our YouTube channel. After murdering day 3 after murdering somebody.
Wow! Don't put that on the camera.
It was worth it.
And we had sex a lot today.
It was worth it. I got plenty of sex, so I was paying them for doing it.
And no bleeding this time. We got through that. We overcame.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
wow.
Yeah. That was disturbing, but yeah, I had to watch it, so you're watching it too. Apparently, I don't know if anybody, I hope everybody could hear. Basically, they say this is 2 days since we've murdered someone. It was worth it.
And they just look like they're camping or something.
And you can hear like it's raining.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that's why they had...
And she looks, or they both look like nothing.
Yeah.
Like they just went on a shopping spree or something.
Yeah, and not only that, but, you know, he starts choking her.
Yeah. That's that noise that she's like...
Yeah.
It's because
he's
like,
choking her, and then she said that they had a lot of sex and that there was no bleeding this time. So, I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway.
So the police finds that video.
Yeah. And I mean, what can you do? Can you say that she didn't do it? Probably, but
yeah.
Let's keep going. They were taken back to Vegas. They were how do you get extradited?
Yeah.
And they were taken to trial to a grand jury. And they were charged for 9 counts each. And why 9? Because not only were there, you know, the death of her father, but there's also arson and
the money,
and there was a lot of things that came along with it, and they did both plead not guilty in 2021. I don't know if that's just something like, is that something that they tell them to do, or
is she going to be tried as an adult?
Yes. So she's going to be tried as an adult, but they actually were looking for the death penalty for Aaron.
Oh shit!
But
Nevada has the death penalty. I guess so.
I guess they were. That's what I read. They then changed their plea deal. They were like, "Hey, we'll take a deal for guilty."
Yeah.
And Aaron was asked. Eventually, he's the only one that's actually talked after any of this. And he was asked, because mind you, this has only happened a year ago. So this was kind of, in 2022. So they
they went to trial.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
They did plead guilty eventually.
Los dos?
Los dos.
So they both got plea deals?
Yes. The thing is, when Aaron was asked whose idea was it, he said, why? He said, well, it was kind of both of our ideas because we didn't know what we were doing. We were just doing it to do it. And we knew we had to do something.
For what?
I don't know. And not only that, but he also said that he's not a monster and that he did apologize for what he did. And he also wants to know, because they did get sentenced to life in prison without a possibility of parole until after 25 years. Mm-hmm. He's hoping that he can get out and I guess and show everybody that he's not a monster or something like that, along the lines of that. Now for her, she didn't release a statement, but she did say something to the judge. And she actually told the judge that she was getting abused by Daniel, and that Daniel was sexually abusing her, and that is why she did it, because she had a lot of traumas.
Is there anything that actually corroborates her story?
No, there wasn't. And obviously the judge didn't believe her because she still was sentenced to life without a possibility. After 22 years, excuse me. And they were ordered to pay like $5,000, which makes no sense to me because where the hell they're going to get $5,000 from? I'm just saying.
Her parents?
I guess. But her dad is dead.
Her mom.
And then on top of that, Christine, obviously, Daniel's family was just beyond distraught, and they actually excluded her from his obituary. They basically
didn't put her as his daughter.
They didn't put her as his daughter. And so that is the story of Daniel Halseth.
And for what? You throw your life, that's what I want to know. How do you find, if you want to go out there and murder somebody, that's all you, right?
Yeah.
But how do you find somebody and be like, hey, let's murder somebody? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. What?
Not only that, but I feel like, and it goes back to the same thing of being a parent, you're wanting the best for your kids. And in that moment, they don't understand that. And it has to do with dude, that could happen to any of us, unfortunately.
But do you think it was him? Or do you think it was her?
I think, honestly, by the way that the video looked, and you saw the video, he looked like he was...
The one, yeah, it was his idea.
It was more like she was kind of more reserved. She was don't say that. Or
como que she was, como he says during the case, that you said that they just needed some time apart. Mm-hmm. Maybe it would have been fine. She was just being a rebellious teen, I guess.
Yeah, she was being
because he was the way that he was, it kind of I guess.
Maybe he was just trying to control her. I read somewhere that he did claim eventually that he was on drugs when he did it. I hope he was because...
he still did it.
He still did it. And not only that...
But you stabbed somebody 70 times.
I think that it was because
he was on drugs.
They were on drugs. Not only that, but I don't know if both of them were, but I know that for sure he was on some LSD shit. Pero I did read somewhere also that she actually had posted something on Instagram. I got this from Stephanie Harlow because Stephanie is the queen of all the universe. And she actually, in her video, posted saying that she read, there's not a lot of information about Sierra on Sierra's Instagram because Daniel's Instagram is still open.
Right.
And so, but on Sierra's Instagram around that time, she had posted this video about this song that was really sad, y que no sé qué. And it was she was blaming her dad for not being around the love of her life or something like that. And she was all emo and shit, which
that happens. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that.
But dude, I don't think it's like, if you want to be with this guy, okay, but do you think it was necessary? Like, they had already thought of doing something,
right? Because they were gonna
think they were gonna rob them,
the parents, and then.
And I think that Stephanie Harlow also said that she tried to reach out to Elizabeth to get a comment or something, and she obviously never heard back. I mean, it's just
that's crazy,
a horrible story, and I just hope that anybody that's out there listening, you know, it's not that crucial.
When you're that age, I mean, I know it seems like it is when you're that age, but it really isn't.
Believe me, like I always tell my daughter, there's a lot of fish in the sea, a lot.
And it's not even that. You just have so much more life to live. Like, it's not, that's
like
not.
They stopped. What did they think, that they were going to get away with it? Like,
honestly,
let's be honest. Like, they were in the car. They had the, like, come on. Like, are you that? Well, yeah,
their frontal lobe is not fully developed.
I mean, obviously. And if they're doing drugs, then it's really not developed.
But yeah, like you said, what was their plan? They just, dejaron el carro. And they got on a fucking bus, and then what? To where? Like, what was the plan?
I mean, in the train, they didn't even have a ticket to.
They didn't even try to. Well, también están pendejos. I mean, good thing, right? Pero,
obviously, good thing que están pendejos, which we've learned this over and over again. But I just feel like I said, and everywhere that I've read or that I saw this story, it kind of tells you the same thing about how it just gut wrenching, because of the fact that he was so in love with his daughter. Mind you, we don't know if he actually was sexually abusing her or whatever it was, but the moment that you see the videos and all of that, I don't know. Just from picking up what I saw, I don't think so, because he was never like, it wasn't like he was with her at all times. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think. And I just feel like maybe at that point she was just like, hey, I don't know. And I don't want to say it's not true, because, you never know. But it was just such a sad story when my sister sent it to me, I was like, I can't believe this. Because she's like, she literally said, this could be you. Because my daughter is, preteen. And so that, like I said, is the story. Thank you so much for everybody that has been listening. We have more followers on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. We appreciate everybody that's been following us. Shout out to my cousin. Amy, thank you so much for your support. Everybody that's been supporting us. I've been trying my best to get us out there. If you can help us out sharing or, just telling someone about us, that would be great. You can just let them know that you can follow us on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod, or you can send us an email to
Cafecito and Crime Pod at Instagram. Oh my God.
Wow.
cafecitoandcrimepod@gmail.com. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your night, day, whatever. And cheers to your coffee.
Bye.
Bye.